I don't know about you guys, but I never would have picked that that image on my thumbnail was AI. And let's talk about it all. So obviously there's been a bit of discussion in the Hoyo world about AI art being used in their games, and Honkai Nexus Anima has actually had a job opening being revealed about an AI electronic pet designer. So it looks like Honkai Nexus is most likely a lot of the pets in that game, they're potentially going to be AI generated, which is really interesting, and it sets an interesting precedent for Hoyo moving forward. Are we going to start seeing a differentiation from not just pets, but also characters as well? You know, anything's possible. At the end of the day, Hoyo is a business, you know, and they're going to be looking at the most profitable ways to make money. So introducing AI is a no-brainer, you know, instead of paying artists, you know, these exorbitant fees, you just literally get AI to do most of the work, and then you get someone to do a touch-up. You could literally have one guy using AI and doing touch-ups over a whole department. That is a massive saving, you know, and you've got to understand businesses, you know, they're very brutal when it comes to these kind of things. You know, they're all about profit. They're not about looking after their staff. It's all about profit. That's what happens when you work at a big corporation. There's a reason big corporations are referred to as meat grinders. But look, it's not all doom and gloom. I actually want to talk about a little bit of how good AI has actually gotten. The main thing is the touch up. So touch up, that's the current meta of AI art right now. Generating your model, and then the artist still needs some form of a skill set, because what they'll do is they'll touch up those imperfections. So you'll see situations where it's like, let's use this artist for example in the thumbnail. This artist's name was Eliza May. They've done some really lewd work, and you know, we'll just look at this one of, I think it's Cyrene or something for example, and it's just like, honestly, you could not tell me that you could differentiate that this is AI or not, right? Ignoring the hair, which is a dead giveaway, everything else is pretty much bang on because there's been touch up. Like the details in the feet and the hands, you don't see that in AI, and that's because it's been touched up. But obviously the artist hasn't been able to touch up the hair, and you can see around the waist, look at that hair. That is a dead giveaway of AI art. Also, the faces are a good giveaway as well. I don't know what it is with AI art and faces, but whoever's doing the touch-ups, they need to really work on like putting a bit more life into the actual faces. You know, they always look like kind of like beige and like dead, almost like vampires. You know, vampires have that like beiginess. Well, that's what I always see in a lot of the AI pieces. You know, throw a bit more color into the faces. You know, a bit more livelihood if you're actually touching it up, and then obviously hands and feet always look bad. This artist has done a really good job of touching it up. Like, look at that feet detail. That's pretty impressive. But hair's a mess, you know. Look, what's going on with the hair? Always a dead giveaway of AI. The hair's just, they can never fix the hair because it's just all over the place. It's too much, you know. Is what it is, you know. But this is a good example of AI art that's been touched up, you know. They've been able to touch up probably the feet and the hands, but the hair is just a complete mess. And honestly, look, if you want my opinion on AI, I've got no issues if artists are using it to help themselves, right? It's a tool that can be utilized to help yourself. You know, we see all the talk of artists, you know, always sick, you know, dying, you name it, you know. These artists are really overworked. So if there's a tool that comes into play that like literally cuts their work time in half, they should all be for it, you know. But what's made it bad and given it the stigma is you have these kids on the internet that literally want to get rich as quick as possible, you know, the laziest way possible. They're taking artists' work, running it through AI, and then generating art that looks very similar. And believe me, they're actually getting good money for it. And that's the bad part of it, is the work that's been stolen and put through AI by kids that are literally just trying to make as much money as quick as possible. This generation of kids coming up, it's all about cheating your way to the bag as quick as possible and as lazily as possible. It's very scary, and I feel so sorry for that generation, the ones that are actually doing it the right way. Because for every one person doing it the right way, I swear to God, there's like 20 to 100 kids doing it the wrong way. Twitter's a good example of that as well. You know, all the repost accounts that take people's art and just repost it. No source, no nothing, you know. That stuff's crazy. But that's the world we live in now, you know. AI is here to stay. If you're an artist, I think you should definitely utilize it a bit more. Save your health, you know, save your time, save your money, you know. Very crucial to do. I really think those artists should be doing that, you know. But what's your thoughts on AI art? Is it here to stay or is it abomination? Honestly, looking at those feet, I think it's here to stay. It's your boy Gacha Burgers, over and out. Peace.